the
I'm sorry.
record, that's okay. Just for the record. Were you able to take a look at the April 2nd minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Any items to add or subtract or comments? No? Okay, so we'll accept those minutes. Our first item is the Wilbur Park Pool contract. This is the second round. And anybody want to just provide, and by anybody I mean
Me?
Greg?
Sure.
Just a sort of like, excuse me, what updates they've provided for us?
Right, so the base cost is unchanged, $100,751, which will be split into 4 payments for the summer. Also unchanged is the up to an additional $5,000 that will be paid at the end of the season to reimburse the YMCA for lifeguard retention bonuses. That's the $5,000 the city received for the New York Swims grant. So that's an additional amount based on that grant we would pay based on what they actually pay their lifeguards for as retention bonuses. In addition is we got a price from the YMCA of $6,250 if the city were to opt to extend the swim season from 7 weeks to 8 weeks. And that also, there's an if there, if the YMCA is able to staff that. So we wouldn't know that until we get a little closer, until they have their staff in place, if they're gonna have enough people around to provide that. And if the weather is conducive, we could opt to do that. So if the council now would like to indicate an interest in doing that, we could transfer that money from contingency if we have the opportunity to extend by a week. So if the weather's conducive and the YMCA can staff it, then we could transfer the $6,250. I could authorize that at that time if the council wants us to do that.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else?
Let's see.
And the extra week would be, just to clarify, it would be from the 17th until the 23rd.
That's
So
right.
if they were going to do that, they would probably already have put their staff in lineup for that. Does that make sense? That they would, if they were going to plan on doing that, they would put their staff, line up their staff for that extra week and pay them
So-
overtime.
Yes, so sir, we appreciate your comments, but we're not actually hearing from the public right now. We're just
Okay.
having just a meeting with council members, or
Okay.
committee members.
Yeah.
So thank you. We actually hear from the public on Tuesdays in our council meetings. If you'd
Okay.
like to come back then and speak.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
One other addition to the contract, we added text that the city of Oneonta agrees to allow the YMCA to install recording cameras in common areas, specifically at the entrance check-in area of the pool. They asked if they could do that. We wanted to capture that in the agreement, so that would be additional security cameras.
Do they have any cameras now?
The city has some cameras now. They currently do not record. Or rather, I think there may be some issues still with them and the YMCA would like to add additional ones. This would be,
The issues are with the technical issues or people?
it's technical issues. I'd have to determine exactly what that is, but in any event, they asked if they could add some other locations. It's not something that's in our budget, and they're willing to do that for the city.
So that's the, I think, sort of main idea, which is that the why we fund those additional cameras.
Right,
Just
no,
saying, yeah.
I'm always concerned about surveillance. I'm not a big fan of it, but, you know, I'm not an expert on it either. It's just that
Right.
there's more and more cameras and just, you know.
Yeah. I think they were arguing that it was
The one
important.
thing that we have to be very careful though about cameras at the pool is that it can't go in, you know, like the shower, the
Oh, of course.
changing area and all that.
Right, so I think there's 2 points that they raised. One, they were concerned about having, if I recall from the discussion, having individuals come into the pool, like jump into the pool when it's closed. There's oftentimes debris found from people being there when they shouldn't be there. So these
Right.
cameras would help potentially kind of mitigate
So they
those
would be-
problems.
Would-
And then the other issue would be that they would not have cameras in private areas, so in the changing rooms, for example, or the bathroom.
So they will have, these will be recording all the time when the pool is, even when it's closed?
I think now they
Is that when they-
record, right? They record, but they don't tape. Wasn't that the concern? Something like that?
They're not, I know they're not connected live streaming anywhere, but I believe they record. I just don't know what the technical issue is. I believe there's been some issues with them. I
Right,
can't speak anymore that tonight.
Right.
But the YMCA, I think, would intend to have cameras that record. They would look back at them if there was some incident that they
right,
needed to review.
right.
Oh,
So,
I mean, I'm not gonna object, but
right.
why without more cameras?
Scott, did you have any questions
No.
about this? I guess I just want to know, I know that they don't know when they're going to know, when they can add that additional week, but it would kind of be nice to have a general sense. That issue aside, would we have a separate motion for allowing that 6250 to be,
We can do
Granted.
that a number of ways. You could do it all in one motion, so if the council would like to pay an additional $6,250 for an additional week, if
Mhm.
that's possible, we can include that in the motion and approve that now. And I would only transfer that and pay them if we're able to at the time. If you don't want to do that, you can exclude it, but it doesn't have to be separate motions.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be, okay.
What's the difference in this year's budget compared to last year's?
I think it was, I think this was in the last
We did have
meeting.
that number, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it's not,
This would add a little bit more, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's significant.
it's not, I don't recall.
Last year's base cost was $94,160, so this year it went up to $100,751.
Mhm.
And then the additional $5,000 for the lifeguard bonuses up to, and then the additional $6,250 if we go another week.
Mhm.
So you okay with that?
Yes, I'm all in favor of that. So there would be an additional 11,000 total, is that correct? 1150?
On top of the base amount, yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with all of this. I mean, I would support all of this, including the additional week funding. And that I would support the council empowering the city administrator to make those funds available if and when they're needed. So are there any other comments or questions about this? I'm prepared to just send this to the consent agenda, but if you think that we should have a broader discussion about that additional week or
I think
Anything
you should
else?
mention that we're doing this and, you know, during the committee reports on, because that's, we're spending more money and
Right.
it's a good thing if we can deal with an extra week.
I think so. Yep, I can certainly do that. Okay, so then I propose we just move that contract and with the kind of new details to the consent agenda, and if people have questions about it, we can address them. Okay, great. So our next item is about the splash pad. Since we're already talking about that Wilbur Park pool, that area. This is a agreement that we would authorize to have the Y construct and then provide the donation for the splash pad.
Right, so FOF is the organization, of course, that's raised funding through a grant they received and through donations that they've solicited. Because FOF does not do construction projects themselves, that's not a thing that they do, that's not a thing they're insured to do, whereas the YMCA can do that and is willing. FOF would transfer the funds to the YMCA, and the YMCA would enter a contract with MRC Recreation to purchase the splash pad equipment and hire the contractor to install it. And then the YMCA would be donating that completed improvement to the city.
Wasn't there some question about that the city had to actually hire the contractor? Wasn't there some discussion about that? How does that work?
Right, so if we were to accept donated funds, cash from anyone, FOF or the YMCA, and then seek to hire a contractor to do the work as a city contractor, we have to follow our procurement policy. In that case, we'd have to do either formal bidding or source well type of purchase.
So it could be more
procurement.
expensive and delayed.
It would certainly be more delayed, and it would likely be more expensive because of that. This way, we are able to accept the donation as a improvement with this agreement that we would have to enter the YMCA to spell out the terms of then improving our property.
Have we ever done anything like this before? Because it is unusual.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Jenny, do you recall accepting an improvement like this as opposed to a cash donation?
Tell me your question again, please.
Have we accepted a donation of an improvement to city property? Not cash, but,
The most recent one that we accepted was the design for the Galdora stage.
Yep.
Because the
That's right.
design was funded by another entity,
Yeah.
and then that design was given to us for the project. And that value, I will look at as a donation within that capital project. So this construction of the splash pad by the YMCA, once it is completed and has met all the terms of the agreement, that will go on our books as a donation at the constructed value.
I was just concerned that if someone might raise a red flag and say, you know, this was done in a different way, and I don't want to hear any problems about it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, but we didn't
I think it's-
solicit it.
Right.
This is all, people did this on their own, and we just said, yeah, if you can raise it, great.
As
We
long as
never
it's
went out and
legal.
solicited.
Yeah, I think it's been vetted pretty thoroughly by
yeah, the city
the
attorney.
city attorney.
Okay.
Yeah.
is comfortable with
Yeah,
that.
Wordsick
that's
has
good.
gone through this, yep.
yeah, and we are able to follow this process much easier than, you know, if we were to accept a contract or something like that. That I would not be in support of, but this pathway is a much clearer and much more accountable pathway to do it.
Thank you.
So the quote that the YMCA has from MRC Recreation for the splash pad equipment itself and to install it is just over $410,000. FOF has raised $430,000, so they have a little bit more than the amount that they anticipate it's going to cost. A little bit of a change from what is written on the page is what FOF would like to do through the YMCA is enter this contract and retain that about $20,000 difference in case there are any changes that come up during the course of construction that we don't anticipate. So they would have enough to cover those. And then at the conclusion of the project, if we assume that it is installed for $410,000 and FOF has another $20,000, they would then donate that to the city to help, you know, cover some of the costs that the city is going to take on as part of this project.
That's the demolition
That's
and
the
the piping.
demolition and the water service and the sewer lateral. Those costs in total, and it's really the water and sewer piping and some services to do a water main tap, and some of the bigger costs are the equipment, plumbing devices that need to be installed, backflow preventer, pressure reducing valve and such inside the shed. Those costs are, with some contingency, about $65,000 based on quotes that DPW has received. So what the city council would be asked to approve now would be, I'm just gonna read you the motion, because it'll be a little more clear. So we would initially ask the council to authorize the mayor to enter an agreement for construction and donation of splash pad improvements at the Louisville Pool Facility with the YMCA, recognizing the council shall approve the final acceptance of the donated improvements upon completion of the project in accordance with the agreement. That would be the first motion. The second motion would be the council authorizing the creation of capital project budget totaling $475,000, funded with the splash pad improvements to be donated by the YMCA, valued at $410,000, and $65,000 from the Parks and Recreation Reserve, and authorizing necessary budget amendments. So we would need to be committing to spending $65,000. And we would recommend you take that out of the Parks and Recreation Reserve, which has 98,000 in it currently. Alternatively, you could take that from general fund balance. 6.5.
So that's basically new spending.
Yes, unbudgeted, not planned for, but
So-
necessary to complete the project. And then if the project goes perfectly, there's no added costs for the YMCA or FOF. They have about $20,000 left. FOF has said they would donate that to the city to reduce the amount that we have to spend.
So it could be
65 could be 40.
45, okay, that's where the 45 comes from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the council could approve the 65 with the potential for it to be $20,000 less because of that donation.
Right.
Okay. But that's all to be, continued or?
Is that a separate motion or included in the?
There'll be those two motions, so essentially agreement with YMCA to accept their donation or the terms of that donation. And then the second motion is establishing the budget and including that $65,000. And then when the project is done, it's all complete, we'd have another motion to finally accept the donation as installed, saying, yes, this is complete, and if at that time there's money left over for FOF to donate, we would accept their donation, whatever amount that may be.
Yeah. I would request that the second one be discussed by the council because we're spending more money.
Yeah,
But the first one is fair, we've discussed that already.
yep,
If that's okay with you.
yeah, that's fine, I think we should have a discussion.
You probably want to have them both on discussion then, because you
Okay.
wouldn't want to accept the donation of the equipment if we don't install
It
it.
makes sense.
Water main
Right.
device. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, then let's do both, we'll have a broader, bigger discussion.
And last thing I will say, based on feedback from MRC Recreation, their equipment, the lead time to receive the splash pad equipment is now 12 weeks, meaning it is impossible for this project to be done before the summer season starts. So it will all happen after the pool closes this year,
So in the fall.
and it'll be done this fall and be enjoyed next year.
Will the pool be open, the small pool be open in the summer?
Yeah, we won't demolish that until after, so they still have that.
That makes sense. I didn't think it would get done this year either, so certainly not before.
Pretty optimistic.
I'm optimistic, both
Yeah,
was rushed.
okay.
Excuse me, Greg. Should we amend that motion, say up to accept up to 430,000 instead of the 410?
Yeah, we can change that, yeah, if the value, yeah. So if there are change orders, right now the quote says the equipment and the installation is 410, if they end up having some change orders and it's 430, then
Mm-hmm.
that'll be the value of the donation.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Anything else?
I agree with you. Discussion.
Okay. Okay, so our next item is on, where's this one today? Is on the pavement.
Yeah.
um,
Pavement markings.
I was gonna say improvements, for, and it's for a bid,
This is for the lines,
board,
right?
right?
The lines on the road.
Oh, the lines on the road.
Right,
Oh, I was thinking,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, yep. So I think we could just move this because the bid has gone through, right? In terms of, yeah,
Yeah, we had one bid received.
Right.
Late striping, it's a 3-year contract, so
Right.
it's similar to our materials and supplies bid where we have estimated quantities and they give us unit prices and we, do the multiplication to determine that $161,263.50, but that's estimated quantities. So whatever quantities of lines and symbols we actually put down, we'll pay for
Up to that amount.
up to that amount over the 3 years. The 2026 adopted budget has $50,000 in the traffic control code, which is for on the streets, and $10,000 in the off-street parking code, so we have sufficient funds within our budgeted.
This year, we're gonna do Chestnut Street.
I don't know, I would assume, but I would
Mm.
want to ask DPW first.
Those lines are pretty faint.
okay. Any other questions about that item? Okay.
So, we go to consent.
Yes, it's consent, sure. So our next item was actually the sidewalk replacement, that's what I was thinking earlier. And what's needed from council is to authorize this budget and to authorize the budget adjustments. Thank you for these photos of the different places that are now going to be improved. It's very helpful. Is there anything we should know?
Aside from what's in the form?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's budgeted, we've got $100,000 in our sidewalks codes. We have a materials and supplies code and a purchase services code. 50,000 is in each of those, and we just need to shift some of that, so 23,500 will go from materials and supplies to purchase services to cover this contract. Materials and supplies are concrete and such that's purchased by DPW. So this is work that's being in part done by DPW, the contractor pouring and finishing the concrete.
And these are the same, this would be the same motion, not separate.
I believe so.
So I didn't know, because one is for budget and then the other is to approve the
Yeah, the draft
transfer,
motion
so,
we have is all in one. You
Okay.
can do it either way, but we wrote it as one.
okay. Okay.
Is Job Corps still involved in sidewalk replacement?
I don't believe that they have recently had the capacity to really do any jobs for us. I mean, I think we just built the program, I think, as far as I know, they haven't done anything for us in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
If we could get them back to doing things with us again, we'd be happy to.
Okay, so they initiate that, they come to you?
Our DPW, Chris will talk with their cement masons instructor
Mhm.
periodically and see if they have any availability. In the past, we had to do 1 or 2 things a year, but in recent times, they haven't been able to.
Okay, sure, I think it's good that they get some on-the-job experience like that.
Absolutely.
I think that's a pretty good paying job, working with concrete, and you can't automate it too easily.
Okay, so we can move, if there's no further questions or comments, we can move that to the consent agenda, and then we'll take a look at the approval needed from council to transfer an amount from one source to another for the eye hydrants.
So this was included in the adopted budget. No additional funding is needed, but we included this in the 409 materials and supplies code, but because the total amount was
$45?
$45,000, we're going to catalog those, inventory those as fixed assets, so we want to transfer it to the equipment and capital outlay code, so that is done properly.
So it's a question of labeling the materials correctly. Okay. Any questions? No? All right, we can move that to the consent agenda as well, and then we can take a look at our.
Yeah, can we have a
Do you have a-
minute or two to read this?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can take a minute, or more than a minute. This is the last, is it 2 separate items?
It's one item, there's a
Oh, okay.
couple of supporting
It's a budget request form and then a,
Yeah, I can explain, but I can let you skim through it first.
red line is the property line? It's the property line?
Yes.
Okay. Right, whose handwriting is that?
I think that's Bridget's.
No, because I see that frequently and I go, I would like to be able to do that.
Unless it's not Carrie, is it?
Hmm?
Did you write the bid prices today?
Is
No,
that,
today's bidding is me.
Oh, that's Carrie.
Yeah.
that's your handwriting? Very good.
It is very good handwriting, it's very
I
clear.
couldn't do that.
I really want to use that PDF program.
As an aside, I have this book about the history of Simeone Otto. I got it for $1 or something. And the students were required to take penmanship for the first 2 years of college in like the early 1900s. Could you imagine?
My signatures look nicer.
As a college class, penmanship.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. But then again, I'm mostly colleagues.
Okay. How we doing?
I'm good.
You're not reading.
Well, I already
Oh,
went through it. I was-
Okay. You're done. Okay. Do you,
So does this look familiar?
oh
To
yes,
anyone?
I thought to myself, wait, it's Deja.
Yeah, that's why I pasted the motion that was approved by council in December.
Yes.
If you recall, as you read,
Yeah,
we approved the pre-application. Now we've received 4 bids. That's what was included. The last attachment shows the 4 bids. The nice handwriting.
right here.
Low bidder is Upstate Companies.
Mm-hmm.
The way these FAA grant applications work, we will not award a contract to Upstate or anyone at this time, but we will take the pricing they provided and use it in our grant application, our official grant application to FAA. FAA wants to have that level of pricing so that they're confident in what they're awarding. So based on that, as well as a proposal we had from Passero Associates, our airport engineering consultant, which I listed there as $802,400. That number we're confident is reasonable based on the independent fee estimate that we did. That's another requirement of FAAs. When you have a contract above $100,000, you hire a separate engineer who's not associated with the project to review the price that's given to you by the engineering consultant, just to make sure it's within a reasonable range to be expected. And that is. So we would use those numbers and submit this grant application. Again, I put an asterisk here by the contingency. I'm not certain. I need to confirm with our consultant how much contingency we may or may not include in the grant application. So it will be up to $5.5 million, I would expect. That's less than the 6.6 that we authorized in December, so we had some good pricing, better than we had anticipated. The city's local match is only 2.5% of this project, which is $137,500. Could potentially be less than that if the contingency number goes down. So yeah, that would be the grant application submitted at this time, and then we would hear from the FAA that we received that grant application sometime this year. It's not a set time frame, usually early fall by then. And as soon as we hear from them, then we can award the contract to the low bidder and award a contract to Passero Associates to the engineering, which by engineering, it's really the observation of the construction and administration and of the observation and inspection. And then we would proceed. So likely starting construction to some extent late fall or worst case spring of next year, and likely completing in 2027.
How long would that take?
I believe it would be done by the end of 2027.
No, but it shouldn't, it's not a very long road.
This isn't the road, this is the taxiway. It's so,
Taxi.
it's half of
The
the
taxi.
phase one of the taxiway. So you have that drawing.
So here, right here, the green,
Right,
phase
I was
one,
looking at,
this, around here.
well, the blue line.
Oh,
The blue
It's
line
This
is
is-
the other project.
Right,
this is
right,
the.
this is the
addition, yes,
taxiway.
Yeah,
And phase one
yeah.
is not the entire thing. You see there's a slightly different shade of green or bluish green. It goes to about here now. So from here to here, including that, is phase
Oh.
one. And then from here to the hangar would be phase two, which,
Why is it done that way? Why not continue
well,
from there?
phase two will cut off these two existing T hangars where aircraft are stored. Because of the grade difference there, when you install this parallel taxiway, the hangars will no
Oh, I
longer
see
be
what they-
accessible, so we want to do that second.
So what happens to the hangars?
To be determined how they may be repurposed, but they won't be storing aircraft. The purpose of, well, other than, in addition to the fact that this entrance road is in poor condition, by relocating a section of it.
Blue line?
Is it poor condition?
Walked it, I've ridden my bike on it multiple times and I've driven on it. I've seen worse roads in Oneonta, but anyway,
Fair
that's beside the point.
So that would create more space for potential new hangar construction. Also down here where this green asphalt would be paved, we could potentially construct hangars there, so that would open up other spaces for hangars to replace those in the future. That's something we-
What's that line? The
That's
right
a
thing?
fence, or actually, I'm sorry, that's an access road.
So this is the taxiway and that would be a road?
Yeah, that's like a construction access road that
Oh.
we reutilize in the future if you need to drive down here, say there's hangars. For maintenance.
So there's potential for new hangars here and new hangars here.
I gotta say, this is just a maybe a quibble, but it's hard to tell the difference in the greens here.
It is.
And all, phase one looks like that a whole long piece there, so.
I'm not saying anything, because the last time I brought something up, I couldn't read the 11, the little one.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is kind of similar, I mean, it's very slight, but so that's very helpful that you pointed that out. Thank you. Okay, so, to our business. We are being asked to then authorize this grant application
Right, you'll see almost
for
the
this,
same.
for the phase one.
Right, so the resolution that we passed in December will be passed in very similar right now. It'll have updated numbers and it won't be a pre-application commitment, it will be the actual grant application authorization. And again, the estimated total project cost back then was 6.6 million with an estimated local match of 165,000. Now it's gonna be more like 5.5 million, exact number to be determined tomorrow for the agenda, and then that match will be maybe 137.5. Better than-
As opposed to 165.
If you take the numbers you got, exception the highest one, round up to 5 million, do a 30% contingency of 6.5, anyways, you're almost right on point with what we did. I think you did a pretty good job, getting pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you, for sure.
Good job.
That's our engineering consultant that estimated that, but I will pass that on.
Any other comments? I don't have any either.
I thought you were trying to tell me something when you sent this and how I voted. You got how we voted on it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't, nothing intended by that, I just pasted it in the minutes.
How did you vote on it?
I voted for this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you didn't vote against it. Dawn voted.
I'm saying not the dog food.
Okay, so should we have a further discussion about this or not with our council?
Being that there was no votes, I mean, I know Don's here to hear it, but like, Councilman Parshu, and then Carolyn's just coming into it, because Mike was the one that voted on this before,
Yeah, it was in December.
so, of course, I know she's here, but
We should ask for,
probably would want to have a discussion, I would think.
You wanna have a discussion?
I
Is that what you're
think,
saying?
that's what I would suggest.
All right, okay.
although I'm running the meetings, so I would prefer everything to be on consent.
Keep it simple?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we should have a discussion.
Is there a chance that we could have an update at the council meeting on the tree situation? Because I think that report came in, right? Yeah,
Yes,
separate from this.
The mayor had sent maybe a week ago or so to council an update on where that was at. It's not much different since then. He had sent out a letter, a second letter to various landowners offering to, meet with them and explain.
Right, but it didn't say anything about how many trees and all of that stuff. It just said, if I recall the letter he sent us.
Yeah, I think his intent was to offer them the opportunity to come and meet individually and go over it before we have a bigger, public meeting that presents the whole thing.
Right, but is there can we get any information, just a general overview, a lot of trees, a few trees?
I haven't reviewed them in detail myself yet, so I couldn't tell you, but I can look at that.
What I'm saying is, after we vote on this, could you give us an update? If it could be next week or sometime in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it'll be Tuesday, but I'll talk with our airport consultant, see what we can.
Yeah, because I think that would be helpful, seeing that, it's a controversial thing.
I was gonna say that there are some considerations. I'm totally fine if we wanna have a discussion more generally, but we did already vote on this in December, something very similar, and it is just the grant application, just to move forward with the application.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's committing to do the project.
Yeah.
This is, the FAA
Which we-
asked us
yes.
to do the additional step of approving the pre-application commitment, I think we called it December,
Yeah,
given the fact that last time around on this particular project, a few years ago, the council did not vote to go forward.
Mhm.
So this would be the point of no return, so
Isn't
to
it
speak.
technically already?
So to speak, yeah, we're committing the local match in the grant
Yeah.
application, and they're gonna award this money to us and expect us to award the contract and
Right.
go forward.
But haven't we done that already in December?
Essentially.
In a manner of speaking?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
This is just
I mean, that's how I read it.
official and-
So,
But the idea is that a new council member, so
yeah, I mean, I'm not against, I'm just saying, we did have this discussion.
Right. Yeah.
So I could be persuaded to put it on the consent agenda, but it's fine. Whatever.
I'm sure I can send, if somebody wants to pull it, they pull it.
I mean, that's what I think. Because only because we had this particular motion already approved in December. So that would be my argument for just saying, put it on consent, and then if people want to have a broader discussion, they can pull it. So. And I appreciate you including that
I'm asking
motion.
for a broader discussion.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, so I
Oh.
don't wanna, if you insist, I'm not gonna pull it, but I'm
I mean,
requesting.
you could,
you
you
know.
could.
Yeah, I don't like doing that, though. It sounds like we're being kind of confrontational.
Well, if you're gonna wanna discuss it, we'll just put it on discussion.
Yeah, that's what I'm requesting.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Don would like to
discussing.
discuss it.
It's fine.
All right, so we'll have that for discussion,
Thank you.
even though we already discussed.
It'd probably be a very short discussion.
No, right, exactly. Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's fine. No problem. Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Okay, super. Then if that's the case, if we have no other questions or comments, I move to adjourn at 5:52.